Welcome to the Onward podcast. This is Emily Harmon, your host. If this is your first time listening, I just want to say hi, and I'm glad you stopped by for a listen. And I hope that you enjoy this episode and come back and listen to many more. My guest today, Boiki Keaitaya, is a writer of educational resources in the area of mathematics education. Prior to becoming a writer, Boiki worked in the school system as a teacher of mathematics and also in management roles for over 16 years for middle schools, grade 8 to 10, at the junior secondary level in his home country of Botswana. He's also worked as a human resources practitioner for the Ministry of Education and Skills Development in his home country of Botswana. I'll put a link to Boiki's books in the show notes. One of his most recent books is entitled, "This is What Going Through Personal Hardship Taught Me." And some of what he went through, we talk about in this episode. One of the main things we talk about in this episode is Boiki's blood pressure and how his health was impacted by his career. Blood pressure is kind of a silent disease. It's not like we're walking around with a visible wound, but it's important to pay attention to it and listen and learn how Boiki finally started to pay attention to his high blood pressure and do something about it. We also talk about Boiki's personal manifesto. And I think that's something we all should do, write a personal manifesto. What motivates us? What gets us up every day? What's our purpose in life? In addition, we talk about the fact that we need to come up with our own personal definition of success. No one else's definition will do. Boiki, welcome to the Onward podcast.
I'm glad to be here. Basically, as we speak now, I'm in Botswana. Normally, Botswana and South Africa, we share the same history to an extent that people normally tend to think we are the same country.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born and bred here. Fine. In the later years, I went to university in South Africa.
Okay.
But I started after high school, I attended college here in Botswana. I came out of college a mathematics teacher. So eventually I was hired by government to become a math teacher.
A math teacher? For what age?
Mid-age, from 12 to 15 years. Yeah. But when they trained us, they were not training us specifically for any age. I can teach even at high school. But I never got deployed to high school. So throughout my entire life as a teacher, I worked at 2 middle schools. And I started as a teacher, rose all the way to head of department, more like a dean for student affairs. That's when I left and pivoted into HR.
Okay, you moved into human resources, HR, after being a teacher?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't change employers. Actually, I moved to the headquarters of the same agency that had hired me as a teacher before.
Okay.
And only that now I was in HR, hiring teachers. So that was in 2008 when I made that switch from education to HR.
What was the reason for making that switch?
Somehow, though I liked the teaching very much, but I felt like at that point in time, I felt like I needed change. I had been in the school setting for 16 years, so I felt I had overstayed. Then, hence I made that switch, and I went into HR.
Okay. And then you've got an issue. Had an issue with your blood pressure. Was your blood pressure high when you were teaching math, or did it shoot up when you moved into human resources?
Yeah, when I was a teacher, actually, I come from a family, at least on the mother's side, that has a history of high blood pressure. My mother, it took the life of my mother. Yeah, it's something that we are living with. All of us, the 4 siblings, I'm the elder one. These other 3 siblings, they also live with high blood pressure. The last one, is the opposite of us. She's struggling with low blood pressure.
Really? So you have all your siblings except for one have high blood pressure, and the other one struggles with low blood pressure.
Yeah.
No in between.
So, but when I was a teacher, it was always manageable. Of course, I managed it with medication, but it was never an issue.
Okay.
But when I pivoted to HR, because of the nature of the work, it became a big issue for me. At first, I enjoyed work so much that I was a bit oblivious to it. I knew it was there, and the conditions were not conducive for a person with high blood pressure, but I kept going. I enjoyed the work so much. It was taking its toll on my health. It was until 2013. But one morning I went to the doctor. It was a routine visit to go and check the blood pressure and just to see if I'm okay. And that day it was still up. It was up like it had been before. And the doctor sat me down and asked me like two questions. What are you going to do with your blood pressure? I told her I didn't know what to do. But she told me that it appears like your blood pressure has something to do with your work situation. Now, maybe time that you actually reconsider your work.
Your weight, huh? Yeah.
Because it's just too high. Because it was about 180 over these fractions they use to measure blood pressure, over 120.
180 over 120. Yeah, that's high.
Yeah, it was high.
Were you significantly overweight, or just mine? How overweight were you?
Yeah, I think I was also overweight. Not that very significant, but I knew I was overweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew I was overweight.
Were you exercising?
No, I was working.
You were working. So you're basically trying to rely on your medicine to keep that blood pressure under control.
Yeah.
And you weren't doing some of the other things like trying to lose weight or exercising. I don't know. Did you meditate? Did you eat healthy foods? Drink a lot of water?
No, I wasn't meditating. In fact, I didn't even know how to meditate.
Yeah.
A few years earlier, I was enrolled. Actually, I was enrolled by one physician who was helping me with. By then, I used to have some breathing problems. So that was way back around 2003. So by then I went to a physician, and then the physician through my insurance, hired a physiotherapist who was to teach me how to breathe in and out. I did the 6-week challenge, but somehow I never internalized the challenge. Mm-hmm. So I went back to my ways after that.
That's easy to do. I think all of us can relate to that. I mean, yes, I'm going to start this new habit. And after about a week or a few days, it's like, I'll just skip today. And then you just.
Yeah. So by the time I was working as an HR professional, basically I had completely disconnected with concepts like meditation, yoga. It was just me.
Yeah.
I was no longer in control of my health. But when it came to eating, I think I ate right.
Okay.
The problem was exercising and other means that could help me take control of eating. Because I never actually ate in restaurant. I always carried a bag to work, prepared by my fiancé. I come from a country which is the people here are huge consumers of beef. We actually have more cattle than people. Yeah. So, but I had stopped eating meat, beef. I was only eating chicken. It is not to say that chicken is safe, but compared to beef, it's much better. So, in terms of food, I think I was doing well. But overall, after my meeting with the doctor, I went home. That day I went to work, but on my mind was our conversation. The doctor was very serious with me. those two questions were more like tough love questions. So I had to sit down and reflect on where I was going, if staying on the job was sustainable for me. Eventually, after 3 or 4 weeks, I felt it was unsustainable. It was untenable. I knew that I had no life working that job. One day something terrible could happen to me or collapse at work. And I had seen people collapsing at work because of that stress, but I never thought it could happen to me.
No one ever thinks it's going to happen.
Fortunately, it didn't happen. I didn't collapse, but I knew time was up. It was a matter of time. So I eventually decided to quit. And since I was 45 years, in our country by law, when you are 45, particularly if you are a public servant, you can choose to retire. When you choose to retire, you have the option to play around with your benefits, unlike if you just resign. So I chose to retire from the public service so that it gave me leeway to play around with my terminal benefits, insurances, and all the other stuff that I had. So that was 2013 August. I left. I had no clear plan of what I was going to do, but deep down, something told me you had to go. I didn't even attempt to look for another job. I went into the unknown. I knew it was the unknown, but nevertheless, I went in. So I thought my travels with BP have come to an end. Just a year into, in fact, it was 6 months into my retirement, if I may say so, into my retirement, my right breast started swelling. Then I realized that I'm not out of the ooze yet. Yeah, it hit me because my mind was all over the place. I was thinking of cancer, breast cancer. And my mind was.
Yeah, you make up all these terrible things. You could go on the internet and diagnose yourself, and you make it up to be worse than it is. So let me ask you a question though. So when you retired, before we get into what you discovered about your breast, when you retired, did you start to lose weight? Did you do anything to kind of take control of your blood pressure, or were you thinking that now that I'm retired, it's just going to take care of itself?
No, I enrolled with a gym, actually, immediately after. Yeah. In fact, I enrolled earlier than before I retired.
Okay, but enrolling with the gym and going to the gym are two different things. Because I joined once and I never went.
No, I went to the gym.
Okay.
Actually, my relationship with the gym stopped when I decided to leave the city and go to my home area. But I went to the gym. The instructors were good. Besides that, the blood pressure was under control, but it was no longer an issue. I knew at the back of my mind that I really needed to take care of myself, avoid stressful situations, just take good care of myself. So the gym helped. I dropped a few pounds and I was in good shape. The problem came when the breast. Right?
Okay. So you noticed what did you notice? A lump on your breast, or?
Actually, the breast itself was thickening. It was becoming thick. The whole of it. It was becoming harder and harder. Even when I touched it, it was hard and very painful.
Because men can get breast cancer.
Yes, they can. So I went to the hospital. It's a private hospital. And the initial physician I met recommended that he cut the breast. I wasn't prepared for that. And then the next physician I met recommended medication. And medication worked just fine. And it's okay now.
Okay.
It's not,
cancer.
Yeah, no cancer, nothing. So after the breast scare, I decided to go to my home area. I come from central Botswana. Maybe in the notes that I sent you, maybe I didn't show it, but the area that I come from, possibly in the world, it is the richest 12.5 square mile. The area has huge concentration of diamonds.
Yeah, you said that in what you
Yeah.
said. And you also said you have a overpopulation of elephants.
Yeah, we do have elephants as well. When you Google our country these days, Botswana, the first thing that you come across is an article on elephants.
Okay.
Yeah. Normally, our president is often that side in the US, always hiring NGOs, non-governmental organizations, those which exist to provide safety for animals. So our country, it has got a huge population of elephants, but we do have diamonds.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of them. So in my village is surrounded by 5 diamond mines. Any direction you look, you see a diamond mine. And most of the mines are owned by government, except two. Two are owned by a Canadian company, Lucar. I think it must be listed in the New York Stock Exchange. Yeah, they normally produce award-winning diamonds. So any diamond that they discovered always comes from our country.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went to my home village. It's like a town, though I knew it was my home village, but I was effectively going to another town because it's busy. It's busy. It's kind of like I've never been to the US, but when you see what happens in my hometown, you can even imagine what it was in your country in the 1800s when there were gold rushes.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So the atmosphere is like that. It's busy. It's busy. But when I went there, when I arrived there, I don't know why it was like that. But somehow the fact that I've quit employment, it hurt my family. I don't know why my extended family and my siblings, they were not happy about it. So immediately it brought conflict. And hey, now.
So what brought the conflict? I didn't quite get that in what you sent me. Like, why did you have conflict with your siblings and family?
Actually, in our country, working for government, it's something that is held in high esteem.
Oh, and you were working for the government and you retired at a young age at 45.
Yeah, and the family was not happy. Normally, in my country, in my country, they value working for government than working for Google.
Oh, working for the government is like working for Google? Wow. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
High esteem. Yeah.
Yeah, high esteem. Made in government. Though I was a deputy manager of HR, I was actually quite influential in the department that I worked for.
I see.
Yeah, this side we call them ministries.
But you had to retire. You felt like you had to retire. There was a lot of stress. Your health wasn't.
Yeah, my health was in bad shape. I had to retire. Yeah. So it was like I had violated certain expectations that they had about me, and it didn't turn out right. And somehow, for the first time, maybe for the second time after my skirmish with blood pressure, but this time I felt extremely vulnerable. I felt like my family no longer wanted anything to do with me. Yeah, that sense of belonging, I felt like it was being challenged. But I was really challenged. I've never met that kind of adversity. It hit me so hard.
Was your family a really close family before that? You felt close to your siblings?
Yeah, we were very close, but they were not happy, really not happy.
Are you married and have any children, or you're single?
No, I'm not married. I have a fiance and one daughter, and a daughter, not one daughter.
Okay.
So I have a fiance and a daughter, and I'm not married, but we will be married soon.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of weeks. I will invite you via Zoom. Yeah, but somehow maybe it was because I wasn't good at handling that kind of an adversity. I've faced many adversities, office politics, stressful as they were, but I never actually cowered into facing any situation. But this one it was so hard on me. I felt like a reject. My confidence went low. But what was even more painful were the words. I have one sibling. Hey, she's not careful with her, her wedding.
What?
She's not careful with her wedding. The words that she used.
Oh, she just doesn't think before she speaks. Uh-huh.
Yeah, at first, before I developed some skin to withstand her barrage of words, hey, I struggled a lot. I had no tools to manage her and other members of the family. So that brought stress. But even then, the blood pressure was still contained.
Yeah.
It was still under control. But hey, I was hating. I was hating, really hating.
So how did you handle it? What did you do? What did you decide to do? Are you back? Are you and your family close again, or how did you handle it?
No, we are okay now.
Okay.
It took a long time for that to find that the peace that we have now.
Yeah. So what did you guys do? How did you do it?
Initially, to protect myself, I stayed away. I would make sure that I avoid them as much as possible. But sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work, especially if they were family meetings, because I had to go to those meetings.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But later on, somehow I don't know. I don't think we did anything in particular. I always tried to stress my point across that even if I'm not working for government anymore, it doesn't mean I am useless.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I am useless. That is the message that I tried to drive across. And one of them recently told me that, hey, you used to tell us she's a teacher like me, the last born. The last born sibling is a teacher.
Huh?
Recently, she told me that you used to tell us that one can work and leave work. Work is not everything. Now, in the light of COVID-19, that's what she was telling me. In the light of COVID-19, now I can see that work is not everything because I'm seeing people being laid off, even some government entities and companies are laying people off. And at least we are talking now.
So it sounds like to me, if I had to summarize it, that you didn't really confront your family. You felt ashamed. You felt bad. You just
Yeah.
being yourself, and you showed up for the family meetings. You didn't try to like completely distance yourself, and you just kept being yourself. And they started to come around. And now with COVID, they realize, there's more to life than a job. And
Yeah.
our relationship as a family is what's most important.
Yes.
And so they're starting to recognize that, and you guys are getting close again.
No,
Sometimes
we are.
that's the best way to handle something, just to back off a little bit.
Huh? Yes.
Sometimes that's like the best way to handle something is just to back off a little bit and give them their space to come to their realizations.
Yeah. No, it helped. Actually, as we record this interview, I'm actually in the city where I was before when I worked. So after almost 4 years in the village, I felt now I was healed. I could go back to the city and start something. And because as a coping mechanism, as one of my coping mechanisms, I was writing a lot.
Journaling. Yeah, heard that.
Yeah, yeah. I found solace in writing. I'm a math person. Normally, math people don't like writing.
Yeah.
But somehow I ended up writing. I have tons and tons of work, content that just needs to be edited and published properly. So I found my way into writing.
Okay.
And
So you
yeah,
have a book that's going to come out, and then but also you sent me, and I don't know if they're for publishing or not, your two manifestos. You've got like some personal manifestos that you've written that help guide you.
Yes, because they were particularly the one titled the Jar Manifesto.
Yeah, I see that right here.
Yeah, yeah. That manifesto, I was challenged by this as I struggled with relationships, as family relationships. I was challenged by this thing called success.
Success. Yeah. What is success? Is it
What is
government
success?
in this high esteemed job, working for Google? Is that success?
Yeah, my sister was saying, you are a failure. That's why you left your job. Then I always ask her, what is success? What is success? You can't be successful if you are not working. You left your job. Then as I was challenged by this word success, I decided to define my own success.
I love it.
Then, yeah.
Have you published it?
No, actually, if you look carefully into that manifesto, it has some errors. Actually, I have an edited version.
Well, could I read just a couple of statements from here?
Yeah.
I like, you say to put my family ahead of everything that I do and to earn their affection in my interactions with them, to hold on to my soul, the one thing that makes me human, and to be human with others and let anything human not be alien to me, to forgive myself for being in the way of those who deceive me and to forgive those that hurt me, to make the best use of what's in my power and to leave the rest for others. So many really, really good lessons here. It's not just being alive, but being well and to keep my body, soul, mind, and heart in good health. These are some of the things that mean success for you. And it's not like how many diamonds you own or kind of the size of a house you live in. That's awesome.
Yeah, that became my mantra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have this posted where you see it every day, or do you review it every day just to remind yourself, or is it is it ingrained in you?
It's ingrained in me, but it's always there. When every morning when I open my computer, I go through the manifestos. The other manifesto, I think you saw it, the Kalahari Manifesto. Yeah, I think it has been edited slightly. I don't know which part. Botswana, the country, Botswana lies at the heart of the Kalahari Desert. And then we have people, maybe you have heard them referred to as the Bushmen.
The Bushmen, yeah.
Yeah. So we have those people. We call them the San people. San, S-A-N. Yeah. Those people, they don't have these conditions of BP and the lot and the lot. They are some of the happiest people you can ever find on the planet. Their needs are simple. And actually, there are many US companies, gyms and others, that whose founders came and stayed with the Bushmen or the San people and learned the insights and went back there, created products, fitness products. I don't know if it's right to mention one website. I'm not related to it in any way.
That's fine.
Yeah, I just read on the net. I think it's called wildfit.com, something like that. The founder of the site, I think, spent some time with the Bushmen. And I think he may have been struggling with weight issues or something like that. So it's many examples that we could give. So I realized when I looked around, I realized that people were stressed. Some were stressed because they were struggling with this word success.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I decided to write that manifesto to show how one can best learn, best live.
Live life according to your terms, for it is your life and yours only. Watch over the choices you make, for your choices decide your destiny. Protect your time, for that is the stuff out of which your freedom is made. Take care of your health, for that is the stuff out of which life is made. You're exactly right. And make firm decisions on all of the things in your manifesto, because indecision becomes decision to do nothing. And then at the end, you say, finally, it's your life. Decide how to live it. And it's so true. That's kind of a lot about what the onward movement's about, is being your authentic self. It's your life. What do you want? Not what do others want for you. And that's what you did when you said, I'm leaving the government even though your sisters and your family wanted you to stay, you did what was best for you. You led your life. You made your authentic decision.
Yes.
I really, really enjoyed interviewing you. Your message resonates with me, and I know it will resonate with so many other people. Blood pressure is something that you don't see. If you were walking around with this big, huge wound on your arm or on your face, we would do something about it. It seems like when it's internal stuff, we just kind of maybe tend to not put as much emphasis on it, but it's still important.
Yes, yes. I'm happy to be here. I'm lost for words. But what I can only say is for those who are listening or who would listen in the future, it's that we do have the powers within us to rise against any adversity that may be on our way. It may be tough in the beginning, but eventually we overcome. I think I have overcome. Challenges will always be there. Yeah, that's part of life, but I believe I have overcome those challenges. I'm ready to face others as I move along. I think if you had asked me how to advise listeners, that's what I would say.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome advice. Yeah. And you're helping others after going through what you went through, trying to prevent them from going through it, or if they do have high blood pressure, trying to get them to see, look, there's more things to life that are more important. And that seems to me like that's like your mission. And whenever you make something your mission or that you're passionate about, then you are going to impact people and you're going to help so many people. I can already tell, even just with this interview and then with your websites. And I think that would you recommend that everyone develop their own personal manifesto?
Yes, that's part of my mission, to make sure that people should look at life exactly the way you were saying you were putting it up. People need to be living themselves.
Yes. I really enjoyed talking with you. I hope we keep in touch over Facebook and in Mark's group.
Yes, I will enjoy the meeting.
Thank you, Boiki.
Thank you, Emily. Bye.
Bye.
I love hosting this podcast because I get to interview people from all over the world. How cool is it that I was sitting in my home in Virginia interviewing Boiki in Botswana? Should have asked him if he could send me a diamond in one of Botswana's diamond mines over there. Think he would? Thank you, Boiki, for taking control of your blood pressure, for taking control of your life, for getting your life back so that you can share your gifts with the world as you create your tribe.